He said it on a Tuesday, like a diagnosis given in daylight. If money's tight, pick up more hours. I laughed, actually laughed, standing in our tiny kitchen with a glass of Pinot and a $22 candle burning like it could deflect math. Or, I said, tilting my head, you could just earn more? He didn't roll his eyes. He's a paramedic. He saves rolling for ambulance wheels. He just looked at the spreadsheet on his iPad and said, calm, I already do overtime every month. Rent is $2,150. I pay $1,500 plus Wi-Fi, your phone line, car insurance, and most groceries. If we're short, the lever we can pull fastest is ours. I smirked because smirking was cheaper than listening. I refused to hustle culture myself into a grave. I want balance. What you want, he said, still gentle, is me to hustle so you can have balance. I put my wine down harder than necessary and left lipstick on the rim like an opinion. I work part-time at a boutique and freelance social media for a Pilates studio. I like my Wednesdays free for creating and my Fridays for rest. I also like lash fills, brunch, and the way a Miami girls trip looks on a grid. He likes keeping people alive in the back of a moving box at 3 a.m. while their families watch God flinch. We split things fairly. He made more, so he paid more. It had crept over the last year from 60-40 to Daniel just covering. He never rubbed it in. I just stopped noticing how often he slid his card. The next morning, he texted me a link to a budget doc labeled House, July. Transparent draft. It wasn't an attack, it was columns.
Rente $2,150, des $1,5 cents me $650. Grosserie $600, des $400 me $200. Utilities $240, split. Internet $75, D.
Paid. Phones $110, D. 2 lines. Insurance $180, D. My car plus his truck. Streaming $45, D. Bundle. He added a note. If we adjust your share to $850 and I drop phones/insurance/streams into your column, I can cut overtime and sleep like a human. If you want to keep your schedule, totally fine. Just need a plan that respects math. Then, because he's him. P.S. If I pick up more overtime, I won't be home for Friday date nights for a while. That's the actual trade. I reacted like he'd handed me a red pen for my joy. This is so controlling, I said when he got home. You're nickel-and-diming the relationship. He shook his head.
No.
I'm telling the truth about our bills. Nickel-and-diming is when H-E-B puts eggs on sale. This is the rent. He didn't fight me. He didn't post a TikTok about weaponized incompetence. He made dinner. Chicken and broccoli the way I like. And kissed my temple and set his alarm for a 24-hour shift. Saturday night, at my friend Kira's birthday, somebody griped about prices and I, performing for laughs, said, my man told me to work more hours like I'm a barista in a recession.
People laughed.
I told him, baby, be a provider. Go earn more. More laughter. I looked at Daniel to share the joke. He was looking at the cake, then at me, then at the door. Calculating exits like any medic in a room does, always. On the Uber home, he said softly, you humiliated me without calling it that. I was kidding, I said, and I meant it. The thing about jokes is that they still have targets. I'm not your banker, he said. And I'm not your brand. I'm your partner. Or I'm not. On Sunday, he sent one more spreadsheet. Same numbers, new tab. Separate as of September 1st. A bulleted email came with it. Subject, boundaries/money/timeline. I'm moving my direct deposit out of the joint by the 1st. I'll auto-pay my half of rent, $1,075, to the landlord portal. I'll remove your phone line and car insurance from my accounts effective September 15th, 2 weeks notice. I'll cancel streaming at month end. You can resubscribe if you want. If you need help building hours, I made a list. Your manager offered Thursdays. The coffee shop on 12th is hiring mornings. Lyft is doing promotions this month. This is not punishment. It's me refusing to subsidize a lifestyle I didn't agree to fund. If you want me to earn more, I will. At the cost of time together. If you don't, then we have to both work more or spend less. If this feels like the end, say so. I won't scream. I'll move to my brother's for a while. If it feels like a reset, say that too, and let's reset. The email was so boring it should have come with a sedative. It also rearranged my oxygen. I wanted drama. I wanted a fight I could win with a good cry and a better kiss. He gave me scheduling and dates and the name of my phone carrier. He wins because he's allergic to theater. I didn't respond for 2 days. I tried to out-ignore the calendar. I bought a bodysuit on Afterpay because I felt poor and wanted to look rich. I posted a story captioned "Soft Life" over a $14 latte. I threw the budget link into a later folder like you can shelve math. On September 1st, the auto pays for my phone and car insurance failed. On September 3rd, Kira texted, "Girl, your Netflix is asking me to update payment." On September 4th, my mom called, "Mija, your car policy lapsed?" The app sent me a warning because I'm the emergency contact. I texted Daniel, "Seriously? You couldn't wait?" He replied instantly, "I gave you dates and reminders. Want me to send the email again?" I went to add my card to the phone account and got the spinning wheel of eternal judgment. I sat on the floor with my laptop, typing in numbers from a debit card that had seen better days. I wanted to call Daniel and say, "Fine, you win, add me back," but every draft sounded like wanting a dad. At 10 p.m., he knocked. He was still in his Navy medic uniform, hair mashed from the cap, eyes soft from lack of sleep. He held a grocery bag. "I bought eggs," he said. "You said you were making that frittata you like for Kira's brunch tomorrow. Do you need help chopping?" He wasn't here to gloat. He was here because people still need to eat during resets. "I'm mad at you," I said, because that's what children say when boundaries are enforced. "I know," he said. "I'm tired, too." He sliced onions while I cracked eggs, and we moved around each other, like people who once thought forever was a default. "I can get the Thursday shifts," I said quietly. "And the coffee shop mornings." He nodded. "Good. Lift if you're short 1 week. Sell the bodysuit you bought on Afterpay. Poshmark has a list of words that move clothes." I blinked. "You noticed? I audit our joint once a month," he said without shame. "Not to control you. To make sure we aren't a $75 surprise away from a fight." At Kira's brunch, she hugged me and whispered, "You okay?" I smiled in the brittle way and said, "We're recalibrating." Daniel didn't go. He was sleeping before his night shift. After, I came home to a quiet place and a printed copy of the budget with my name highlighted beside my columns. The mundanity of it felt like a dare. I picked up the Thursday shifts. I brewed drip at 5 a.m. 3 days a week and learned the difference between people who tip and people who don't buy the shoes they wear. I listed 3 outfits on Poshmark and shipped them in mailers that felt like tiny admissions. I made my own coffee at home, and it tasted like responsibility. My lash tech texted, "It's been too long, bestie," and I muted the thread. I also did math. If I worked 5 extra shifts a week, I could cover my $1,075 half plus utilities and still have something left for groceries that didn't come in a box. If I made 2 TikToks for the Pilates studio, that covered gas and 1 happy hour. If I didn't go to Miami, I could buy tires before the first cold snap. The math didn't care about my vibe. It just sat there, correct. 2 weeks later, on a midnight call, Daniel stabilized a teenager who'd driven into a railing. He came home at 6 a.m., looking like he'd held death's hand and refused to let go. He showered, made coffee, and sat on the couch in clean sweats while I recapped my budget victories like a child showing a parent a drawing. "Look," I said, "I covered my phone and paid the electric on time." He smiled, proud but careful. "I know you can do this," he said. "I knew before you did." "Are you coming back?" I asked, hating how it sounded as it left my mouth. "I didn't leave," he said. "I moved into the guest room for now. I needed the distance to be real, not a threat." He looked at my face like he was reading my vitals. "You said, or you could just earn more, like I hadn't been working 2 shifts a week extra for a year. I don't need an apology for the joke. I need you not to believe it." So, I stopped believing it. Not all at once. Not in some montage where the music swells and I grin at Excel. In little ways, deleting the brunch RSVP I couldn't afford without looking noble, telling Kira I can't go, I'm saving for tires, hold my spot for next time, saying yes to a Saturday double and yes to a 6 a.m. coffee shift and no to a dress I'd wear once. When I slipped and posted a soft life shot with a croissant on a plate, I didn't wash myself. Daniel didn't comment. He just slid the printed phone bill across the table at the end of the month and said, "Want to celebrate paying this together?" Boring men ruin good delusions in the most loving ways. At the end of the quarter, we looked at the numbers. Rent, never late. Utilities, split. Groceries, I learned to cook a pot of beans that lasts 3 meals. Lashes, gone. Miami, postponed. Savings, I had some. I texted my mom a screenshot of my emergency fund, and she sent 10 heart emojis and proud, spelled wrong with 2 U's because her thumbs are clumsy and her love isn't. We kept dating quietly. I still teased him, but never about money. He still worked too much, but not to fix my life. Only to honor his. He wins because he refused to be an ATM with feelings and chose instead to be a man with boundaries. He didn't post me to prove he was a provider. He didn't punish me in public. He mailed me a budget and waited while the truth did the work. If you're waiting for the part where I say I manifested a raise by exfoliating at the full moon, no. I scheduled my life like my bills were real. Turns out that pays better. Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching. She mocked his work more hours suggestion and expected him to fund her soft life. He didn't shout. He separated finances, gave clear dates, and let the bills teach the lesson. She picked up shifts, canceled luxuries, and learned that boundaries aren't cruelty. They're clarity. If you like this video, please subscribe for more. Thanks, and see y'all tomorrow.